How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Rush Limbaugh, his life, his legacy, what he contributed to the world, his impact on society, on conservatism, and of course, we got to touch on the leftist hate mob on the internet, Twitter, Facebook, television, newspaper. We got to talk about that, because that's kind of the elephant in the room. And I'd rather not address negativity, but I have to because it's there. But before we get into it, I want to say rest in peace to Rush Limbaugh. He was 70 years old and died of advanced stage lung cancer. So he fought for a long time. He was really hanging in there. He went to State of the Union address last year and got the medal from the president. That was a beautiful moment. He definitely deserved that. 30 plus years in the industry, changing the game. He definitely deserved to get that award. Now, my first encounter with Rush was one of curiosity because when I was like still a liberal and trying to I guess you would say transition and become a more conservative politically, I was already there socially, but politically I wasn't really there. When I was in that transitional period, I wanted to just seek Rush out and see what he was about because I was always told that he was a racist and he hated black people and don't listen to Rush Limbaugh. He's hateful. He's all this, he's all that. So I just kind of believed it blindly because people that told me that I trusted. And I still trust them that tell me things, but I don't trust everyone for everything. At a certain point, someone can tell me about a thing, but it's up to me to go see if I like it or not for myself. It's just like having an opinion on a movie or a TV show. Somebody may say, hey man, that's the best TV show out. I love it. You got to watch it. It's great. And then when I watch it, I'm like, I didn't like it too much. It was a little bit too much violence, too much gratuitousness. I didn't really like it too much. But that's just my opinion. That's where I come from. And that's their opinion. That's where they come from. So it's always good to see things for yourself. And that's what I did with Rush rather than just believing that he was a racist and a hate monger, all this, that, and the third. I heard the man for myself. And I became an instant fan. I would have it on the background when I'm working, do whatever I'm doing as a podcast for a year or two straight. So I'm a big Rush Limbaugh fan. If any of what I say comes across like Rush, maybe it's intentional, maybe it's not. But I've been a big fan of his for a while. Lately, I don't really listen to many podcasts that are political because I try to have my own original viewpoint. I don't want to have a good thing that Rush says get into my thought pattern or my speech pattern. So I want to have it more be, I want to have more original thought come from my mind. But he definitely got me kick-started into what I'm doing right now as far as being conservative, as far as, understanding the way that I was feeling and things that I were thinking were not crazy. It wasn't just me. It was more of us out there. I heard the callers. They sound just like me. So, his show really kind of got me kick-started into being conservative when I was curious about what is conservative and are they racist or whatever. So I credit Rush for doing that, not just for me, but for thousands, for millions of people for 30 plus years. All right. Like I said, some said that he was racist, but for the time that I heard him, I didn't hear anything racist. It's talking about, the Million Man March and stuff like that, but it's nothing. It's nothing. I mean, I've heard a lot of talk radio, not just Rush. You see, I've heard Steve Harvey. I've heard Ricky Smiley, Corey Holcomb, which is kind of like talk radio as well. I've heard these guys, and they say some wild things on their air as well. And I don't really get offended necessarily. I think that talk radio, Howard Stern, prime example, I think talk radio can go there. Because if you're listening to talk radio at a certain point, it can't just be dry and they're not saying anything that's not controversial because it's like, okay, where's the interest? Where's the impact? Why should I care about this? All right. If I wanted to hear somebody read, audio essays, I just pop on an audio book. What do I need with a podcast or a radio show if there's no excitement, if there's no energy, if there's no humor to it, why even listen? So a lot of what I do, a lot of what I say, I was able to glean from Rush and many others. But Rush, definitely number one. Okay. He can't be replaced. I know he has an EIB network and you got Mark Levin, other guys like that. I think Eric Bowling, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of these guys are on there, but Rush is an original, can't be replaced. Big fan of his, always have been. Now, of course, there's negativity. There's going to be negativity. You're already going to have it. I saw some stuff. Matter of fact, it's probably the best way to do it here. I have this article from Breitbart. I'll go ahead and just put my React cam up so you guys can see what I see. All right. You see that right there. I don't even want to read it, but you guys can see it for yourself. Rest in Rather than saying rest in peace, they say a different word, which is pretty gross. And a lot of these people are blue checkers. And the blue checkers, a lot of times, they're not just necessarily famous celebrities. They are behind the scenes people, journalists, TV anchors, news reporters, editors, publishers, people that really make these news operations go. If you have an editor at large at New York Times that thinks Russia's a Nazi, then don't be surprised when the material on New York Times is anti-conservative in general. All right. If they hate a Rush Limbaugh, of course they're going to hate you for just being a regular normie conservative. But you can see this right here from Wendy Molyneux. Rush Limbaugh was a Nazi who delighted in the suffering of others. We do not mourn and we do not care. That's what they think. Okay. And then let me see. I don't want to read that one, but you can see it. Rush Limbaugh was a blank, cynical person who did everything he could to make the world meaner, dumber, and more divided. I'm glad he's dead, and I wish it had happened sooner. Again, these are the people that claim to be so tolerant, so loving, so caring, so much hatred. Adam Best says right-wingers are reacting to the news of Rush Limbaugh's death as if Mr. Rogers died, and that tells you exactly how delusional the bubble is. Well, maybe, sir, or I don't want to assume your pronouns, but maybe we're not in the bubble. Maybe it's you. Maybe just regular people like Rush. They enjoy this content, and that's it. They're not racist or nothing like that, but you think they are because you're in your bubble. Where do you live, sir? All right, and then what else we got going on? Okay, Christopher Matthias says Rush Limbaugh was a bigot and a misogynist who saturated America's airways with cruel lies and conspiracy theories for decades, transforming the GOP in the process. All right. So, and right here, this is from Huffington Post. Huffington Post now, a major paper. Look at their subhead. Rush Limbaugh, bigoted king of talk radio, dies at 70. All right. And the subhead beyond that says what he just said. Limbaugh saturated America's airways with cruelty and conspiracies, amassing millions of listeners, transforming the Republican Party. And this guy, what's his name? Christopher Matthias. I bet he probably wrote the obituary. He sure did. See right there? Nick Robbins Early and Christopher Matthias. How did I know that? So again, when you see these blue checkers, you might not know who that is, but he is one of the guys is probably the editor or, people over at big papers. This is why the coverage is so negative against conservatives. Don't you see? You see where we're getting at now? All right. And then here's another one from Ian Millhiser. I don't really have any strong emotions at all about Rush Limbaugh dying. He'll be replaced by someone who is just as adept in stoking hate and resentment. And that person's success will give me comfort that the world would be exactly the same if Rush Limbaugh had never lived. So, I mean, this is what they think, not really of Rush by himself, but of you as just a regular person. This is why it's kind of hard to do with those on the left. Like me, I try to be a fair guy. I try to be bipartisan when I can, but you can't do that when you got people like that on the other side who control media. They're the ones that control the voice, the narrative, the things that come out from media, and that's what your regular normie consumes. They're not getting a decent product. They're getting a product that is meant to incite hate, which is why, when I read stuff like that, I just kind of, in my mind, I kind of laugh to myself. I'm like, okay, you're talking about Rush Limbaugh inciting hate and division and all this, that, and the third, when it's you that does that on the leftist media. All right, it's you that does that. It's not us. We're the ones that try to come across and extend the olive branch and be cool, all this, that, and the third. But it's you guys that go the other direction. That's a fact. So as I close, I want to say this. May Rush Limbaugh rest in peace. There's plenty of guys out there that are going to be able to continue to, carry the torch for Rush. I don't want to say, who's going to replace him. Nobody can replace Rush. Nobody can replace Rush. But Rush gave us everything that we need to keep on going. Okay, even while Rush was here, he gave us when we need to keep on going and to expand beyond him. All right. To grow bigger and to go stronger to fight against these guys, because these guys I just read from right there, these blue checkers, Huffington Post, Washington Post, CNN, ABC, MS13, DNC, they're not going anywhere. They're being bred right now in academia from K through 12, college. We got to be able to breed our own as well. All right. If you have a brain in your head, produce children that's going to have brains as well, and teach them the right thing. Teach them right from wrong from a very early age, so they won't be just taken over by the likes of these blue checkers that completely hate you because you're conservative, while trying to gaslight you and say you're the one that hates because they are who they are. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? When's your first time hearing Rush Limbaugh? Are you a lifelong fan? Been a fan for a few years, few months? How long have you been listening to Rush Limbaugh? Were you not a listener? Whatever your thoughts, questions, answers are to that, let me know in the comments. You guys pretty much know where I'm at. I'm a big fan of Rush. I listened to him later into his career, but right when I heard him, I could tell this guy knows what he's talking about. He's sharp. He's right on the money. Now I appreciate his wife. I appreciate Bo Snerdley. I appreciate the entire EIB network for being there for him and producing good content all the time. And we need more guys like Rush. Like I said, you can't replace Rush. It's impossible to do it. And it's inappropriate to say that right now, in my humble opinion. But I think there are many more guys that can carry the torch for him, that can take what he started and keep it going, because it's not going to end here. Some of these guys on the left, they're glad that he's gone because they think it might end. It's like the same thing they thought about Trump. They thought, okay, if we get Trump out of office, then Trump's brand of politics will end. But it's not going to end. The movement that Rush Limbaugh started cannot be stopped. The fire that he lit cannot be extinguished. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.